Hello and welcome to The Good Life. I'm your host, Pete Gatwood, and have we got a great show for you this month. Coming up later on the show, we'll be visiting the University of the Sunshine Coast's Engage Lab to learn about serious video games. And we'll also be talking to a young man who, at 75 years of age, is still playing competitive soccer every single weekend. But first, let's go to Gwen Wilson to have a look at the big news stories affecting over 55s this month.
The federal government has boosted older job seekers' chances of getting work by introducing greater flexibility to its wages subsidy program. A $10,000 restart subsidy is already available to employers who take on a job seeker who is 50 or older. From November 1st this year, the subsidy will be paid over 12 months instead of 24 months, with reduced red tape and complexity. Age and Disability Discrimination Commissioner, the Honourable Susan Ryan AO, has welcomed the changes.
It's absolutely important to have more older people able to continue to work where they want to. It's important for them, first of all, because it improves their economic situation, they want the sense of purpose, they want the social networks that come with having a job. But it's also important for our national economy, because while people are working, they're paying taxes, they're saving their superannuation, they're consumers, so they're supporting other people's businesses, and their health will be better. So all round, it's very important to increase mature age participation.
Figures released by University of the Sunshine Coast's ID Care, a national identity crime support centre, suggest that 1/3 of identity theft and misuse cases involve older people. Having your financial information and credentials stolen is the most common form of identity crime and can leave you out of pocket by thousands of dollars. ID Care recently launched an innovative project to link high school students with older Australians in an effort to reduce online identity theft. The project will result in the development of a new online tool to break down age barriers while promoting safer use of technology. This tool will enable peer learning to benefit both school students, who will learn how to be more security savvy online, and older Australians, who will have the opportunity to improve online social engagement and safety. Whilst the new tool will be initially trialled in Queensland, help is available for all Australians now via the ID Care website and toll-free phone line. The beginning of the new financial year saw the Australian Government Home Care Packages program transition to a consumer-directed approach. From 1st of July 2015, all home care packages are provided on a consumer-directed care basis. Under the new system, customers have greater control and choice over the type of services they receive, how and when they are delivered, and who delivers them. Customers will have the freedom to manage their in-home care as they wish to achieve their personal goals, which may include independence, wellness, and returning to independence following a hospital stay. Customers have a personalised budget according to the level of support they are eligible to receive, as determined by an independent assessment team. This provides greater transparency about what funding is available and how funds are spent. Since the 1st of July changeover, aged care providers have worked hard to ensure a smooth transition for the 800,000 plus Australians who currently receive care services at home. If you're interested in knowing more about any of this month's news stories, you can find links in the show notes on YouTube.
Thanks, Gwen. Later in the show, we'll be speaking with former CEO of the Aged Care Association of Australia, Rod Young, to learn more. But first, we're off to Fig Tree Football Club to find out about one of the ways to stay healthy and active as you get older.
It's a common misconception that getting older means slowing down and giving up on dreams of sporting glory. Peter Webster without a doubt proves that wrong. At age 75, Peter is an active member of Fig Tree Titans in the over 35s and is kitting up and taking to the pitch every weekend.
I was born in Preston in Lancashire, which is a football place, so I always played football. But there was no junior football in those days, so I was 15 and a half when I first started playing in the Carmarthenshire League, the county league. And I've been playing ever since.
He probably doesn't have the speed anymore, but what he's got is just an ability to keep going. He hasn't missed a season in over 60 years, and that's quite amazing when you think about it. He might have missed the odd game here and there where he's had a minor injury, few years back, he even scheduled his hernia operation in the off-season to make sure he was still okay to play when the new season rolled around. And that was at the age of 72.
Oh yeah, I get excited on a Saturday morning. That's why I prefer these 1 o'clock games. I don't have to wait as long. When my grandson played on a Saturday morning, okay, you could go and watch him playing. Now he plays Saturday afternoons. The granddaughters have always played Sunday mornings, so I play Sunday morning, and that's not, if we got a Sunday afternoon game, it's not too bad. But when I get up on Saturday morning, I don't mow the lawn or get the paintbrush out on a Saturday morning. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm waiting for the game of football.
Following in Peter's fleet footsteps are his children and grandchildren, who also play soccer locally, meaning that on any given weekend you can see 3 generations of Websters playing the game they love.
I guess the unique point from our perspective is that Dad's here, I'm here, and a couple of my nephews and nieces are here as well, playing as well. And in a few years' time, my son will be playing here. So there's that continuation of Webster flow right throughout Victory Football Club. I think Dad's the glue for that bond, to be honest. I mean, even with us, obviously he's supportive. He'll stay back and watch my game whenever he can. Quite often, though, he's off watching the grandkids. He'll be the guy running the line at the grandkids' games. He'll be the guy semi-coaching them from the sidelines. He's just that supportive.
I'm surprised how old he is and he's playing. It's good to see him playing a sport, not sitting on the couch reading the newspaper.
Tomorrow morning I've got 2 granddaughters playing against each other out here at 8:30. So my wife, we would have known we'd been going to bowls tomorrow, but I'm not going to miss them playing each other. When we played my birthday game, it was... Sorry, I just get filled up, you know.
Aside from helping the Webster family stay close-knit, Peter also believes that soccer has played a key role in keeping him healthy and active as he gets older.
It's something that he'll just keep doing until he feels he can't do it anymore. I think his aim actually is to probably outlast my brothers and I.
I won't buy new boots in case the boots outlast me, but I'll keep looking for second-hand boots and wait and see. And while the kids are still playing, or something like that, and as long as the legs and the lungs last, or until my brain tells me you're an idiot out here, you've got a lousy game, and which happens during the season. But I suppose when he reaches the state of having a lousy game week after week, then I'm going to say, oh, give it up. But until that happens, I'll just carry on.
Welcome back to The Good Life. I'm joined now by Rod Young, former CEO of the Aged Care Association of Australia, to talk to us about consumer-directed care and what that means to you and me. Rod, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Peter. Great to be here.
I'm sure people are wondering, why did the changes come about?
Well, governments around the world, but particularly in the Western world, have been looking at how we engage consumers in their care and services. And just as we've seen over recent years in Australia, the National Disability Insurance Scheme has gone through a very similar process. And that is, how do we actually put the consumer or their carer or their family member really in control of what they're able to buy with the assistance that we're giving them, whether it's insurance scheme or whether it's aged care subsidy from the government. How does the consumer or their family get really engaged in what they can buy for themselves that best meets their needs?
So what do the changes mean for existing customers?
Well, for existing customers, they move into this environment from the 1st of July this year. They can basically use the same processes and take advantage of re-looking at the services that they get. They've traditionally had a menu from aged care service providers. So when they're looking at what best suits their needs rather than the menu of items that are told you've got to pick from this list, then their children or their husband or wife may have thought, I'd prefer to do or buy something, or I prefer to secure cleaning services or have a weekly visit to the movies or something along that nature that's never been part of the menu previously. Right. Now you can actually start looking, well, what's going to really help me? What's going to create opportunities for me to better socialise, to maintain my independence? Do I need to buy a tablet computer that actually lets me talk to the rest of my family over Skype? Those sorts of things that haven't been available previously really start to open up to best suit your needs.
And what about new customers? Will they be better off under this new system?
I think they will be, for that very, very reason we've just been discussing. If you're a customer and you're now told, hang on, we used to tell you can have A, B or C, and we're now going to tell you can have A, B, C, that's fine, but you can also have A, B, C down to X, Y, Z, or you tell us what you need, more importantly, and what's going to best maintain your independence and your capability to remain at home and independent as best as you possibly can, then there's really, I don't think, any other answer than consumers, users, will certainly be better off in the future.
Wow, great. So how is the transition going?
Well, it's been for aged care providers a fairly difficult path because, as you can imagine, this is a dramatic change. I mean, from a consumer's perspective, I think it's a great news story. From a provider's perspective, they've had to work through these processes. For instance, providers have to give the consumer once a month a statement, an accounting of what has been provided, what dollars have been spent, what's the balance of funds available to that person for the rest of the financial year. That's a dramatic change for aged care providers because previously we controlled all of the funds as aged care providers. So consumers are now much better informed, but providers have had to actually come on board, spend some money on information technology and software to actually allow them to actually provide that sort of information to the consumer on a regular basis.
So unspent money can be rolled over to the next month?
It can, yes.
Okay. And what if I don't want my services on a CDC basis?
Well, you don't have to have them on a CDC basis, but it is being offered to everyone on that basis. And I think it will be very rare unless somebody is perhaps particularly old or frail or unable to make decisions. But I mean, you can have your family, your children, your son or daughter, or your spouse or some other person who you want to represent you actually make those decisions in conjunction with you or on your behalf. So it's really creating the sort of flexibility that all of us as consumers want to have, and which we do usually have. We're going out and buying a car, we'll go and look at the lot that we can afford. We won't just look at one particular car because we're told that's all you can have. So similar story here. So I think consumers in the main will want, as they learn about this, to actually use it quite actively and extensively.
And what if I want a different service provider?
That's available too. You can choose the services that best meet your need, but you can also choose the service provider with whom you're most comfortable. Or you might mix and match between service providers. You might want to secure service A, B and C from provider 1, and you might want to get service X, Y and Z from provider 2. You've got the opportunity and the flexibility to mix and match who will actually provide your service. It's not any longer a one-size-fits-all from one provider.
Rod, you've been very informative. Thanks very much for joining us on The Good Life.
Been a pleasure, Pete.
And now we go to the University of the Sunshine Coast, where Good Life correspondent Cheryl Hull learnt the fun way that video games are no longer just for kids.
Video games have been around since Alan Alcorn created Pong in 1972, but we still tend to think of them as being only for kids or adults who won't grow up. Today we're at the University of the Sunshine Coast's Engage Lab, where Professor Stuart Smith and his team are out to show the world that video games have grown up. They are no longer just for entertainment. In fact, video games are serious business and can be developed into powerful tools to help older people stay healthy, both physically and mentally.
We've played games for our entire human existence. Since we started scratching paintings on cave walls, playing and games have been part of humanity, as has storytelling. So we've always had this really rich way of interacting with each other. And over the past few decades, we've seen the emergence of digital games, probably what you'd call video games. And unfortunately, our conception of games is very much driven by this idea of, young teenagers blasting away at aliens.
Yeah.
Well, serious gaming is actually the application of everything that we know about games throughout the entire human history of playing games, including some of the digital approaches to gameplay, and applying that to serious problems. So the idea of how do we use games in education? How do we use games in healthcare? How might we use games in politics and governance? So that's serious games. So think about a classic scenario of somebody who's maybe had a stroke or a spinal cord injury. if you can get that person to try and use their fingers again or their arm or whatever, then you can gradually rebuild some of those brain circuits. Now that involves a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
And repetition in anything is boring. Exactly. So what's not boring is playing games.
Yeah.
So we're starting to explore the use of gaming technologies, video games, to get people to do lots of practice of these kinds of movements. And it's a very effective technique. So we took a fairly standard video game called Dance Dance Revolution that you can find in any of the video arcades, and we modified it. So basically with Dance Dance Revolution, there's a mat on the floor that's got switches in it, and you have to step onto particular switches in time to something that's happening on a screen.
Right.
And it's all set to music, and it's kind of fun, and it gets you moving your body. Our group a couple of years ago developed a modified version of Dance Dance Revolution. We slowed the game down, we put in music that older adults told us they'd like to listen to. We managed to get people to play this dancing video game in their own home, and we measured their risk for having a fall at the start of the study and at the end of the study, and guess what? We reduced risk.
Wonderful, wonderful. And virtual reality.
Yeah, look, you may have seen in the media a little bit of talk about virtual reality. I mean, this idea of a very immersive digital experience. So pretty soon they're going to be as common as your phones, your mobile phones, or your tablet. Imagine that you've had a stroke.
Yes.
But you live in far western Queensland, and you've come to Brisbane to undergo some rehabilitation, and then you go back out home. You want to be able to continue on in your rehabilitation. Well, one of the ways that we're exploring about getting you to engage in rehab is to immerse you in a virtual world, where you can engage, say, with, I don't know, catching virtual butterflies by reaching out and grabbing them in a virtual world. What's more, we'd be able to link you in far western Queensland with your physiotherapist in Brisbane.
Brilliant.
And you could interact with each other in a virtual world in real time.
Unbelievable. What am I going to do?
This is the Oculus Rift, which is a 3D immersive headset. Don't be afraid.
Oh gosh. Wait a minute. Oh golly, I hate heights.
Excellent. So the
Oh, here we go. We're going down the bend. Oh my God. Whoa! Woo! I'm off the rails. Oh, now I might puke. Oh.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
That's our show for this month. Our thanks to the Webster family, Rod Young and the University of the Sunshine Coast for being on the show. The next episode of The Good Life will be available in the first week of November, so don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I'm Pete Gatwood, and I'll see you next time on The Good Life.